What is going on, Nitrocytes? It is your boy, the Nitro General here, and welcome back to another video. And I know I hardly ever post videos this close together, but I had to get up early today. The reason I look so less ugly today is because I had an interview this morning. So I've been up for a few hours. It is early morning, and I don't have really anything else to do. I am currently walking around the wild area right now in Pokemon on the Switch, trying to get me a Gigantamax, Machamp, and Gengar and stuff like that. And I was like, I should make a video because I had a pretty good idea of a video. I've always wanted to make this video. I think it's always been something fascinating to me. So I thought I would do it. So slap a like on this video if you are enjoying it, or if you just like my videos and you want to see more. Subscribe too, because I make Pokemon content all the time. I also have some other videos planned too that are not Pokemon related, but most of this is Pokemon. So let's really just get into it. If you have been a Pokemon fan for as long as I have, which is like 20 years, or if you have been playing Pokemon since you were a kid, one of the things, if you had friends that also played Pokemon, or cousins or whatever, because my cousins played Pokemon, my friends played Pokemon, now I am the only one really out of these guys that still play, but the one thing we always debated about when we were young is that if you had to have a Pokemon team in real life, what would that be? When we were young, we were always like Charizard and Gyarados and Mewtwo or Infernape or stuff like that. But as you get older, you kind of realize that if you were going to have a Pokemon team in real life, you'd want it to be the most practical team that you could actually have. So what would that team consist of, and why would it consist of this? Now, a Pokemon team consists of 6 Pokemon, so I'm going to be going over 6 Pokemon that I believe would be the best to have on my Pokemon team in real life. What would mine be? And it's not necessarily my 6 favorite Pokemon. Just getting this out of the way, if you guys have been watching my videos, you know my favorite Pokemon of all time is Blaziken, because I have got a shiny Torchic from Wonder Trade, and X and Y. There'll be 7 years coming up. Well, 6 years, 6 or 7 years coming up. And he's been on my team ever since. His name was Peppy Paul. I got it from Wonder Trade. He's been on my team for X and Y. I used him on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire on my first playthrough and everything like that. But Blaziken is not actually going to be on this list because I have a better Pokemon that I'm going to be using instead. And not necessarily stats-wise, this isn't competitive, I'm not going to be like, oh, this would be the perfect because I would be great at competitive. No, these are the 6 Pokemon that would be the most practical for life in general. So let's get right into the video. And the first Pokemon I am going to pick for my team does happen to be one of my top 5 favorite Pokemon. And that is Ninetales. I'm going to be going with the regular Ninetales, the Cantonian form, rather than the Alolan form. Why? Because I just think Fire type is a solid type, And to have in real life, having a Pokemon that can create fire from whenever you want, out of basically thin air, is pretty much awesome just to have. Whether you have it for cooking or heat or whatever, it's just nice to have a good fire type Pokemon. Protection, if you're out camping or something and you need to make a food, you can just be like, hey, Ninetales, light this fire for me, use flamethrower or something. Or it's really hot, Ninetales, why don't you use Sunny Day? Or Ninetales, use flamethrower or whatever it is to warm things up, stuff like that. I think it'd be really great. Plus, Ninetales is based off a fox, or I think a fox or a dog or whatever it is. I think Vulpix is more of a fox, and Ninetales looks more like a dog to me. And I just think it would be dope to have I love Ninetales because it is just such a beautiful Pokemon. I love it so much. It's elegant, very pretty. To have a Ninetales that, can lay on the end of your bed, can walk with you if you're walking downtown or whatever like that. Not only just for protection, just for to have a badass fire dog or fox or whatever you would call it to walk down a wolf to walk down the street with you. Kind of like Arcanine too, but I like Ninetales better than Arcanine. I just think it would be dope. So that's why Ninetales is going to take the number 6 slot on this team. Just because I think Fire type is just a great typing in general. And you need a good Fire type. And the reason I didn't go with the Blaziken is because I have a different Pokemon that's coming in next that I think would be better for that. And that's why the number 5 spot, taking the next slot in my Pokemon team, would be Machamp. Now, I promise not all these Pokemon are going to be Generation 1 Pokemon. I mean, 3 of them are, but 3 of them are not. So, yeah. Machamp. Now, obviously, for the basic thing is that Machamp is a fighting type, and I think, fighting type is awesome to have in real life because mainly for protection, I would guess. I mean, if somebody comes up and says, hey, give me your money, and I'd be like, Machamp, use Dynamic Punch, and he'd just be like, Hua! And then the robber would go flying and whatever. I just think it would be really cool to have a badass, bodyguard, giant four-armed, muscly creature, to help, fight off things like that. But also for the fact that Machamp is just super strong, as it is shown in Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. I think Ultra Sun and Moon, I don't think it was in Sun and Moon, where you get to ride Machamp, where that pushes boulders and everything. If I need, something lifted, something heavy lifted, Machamp can help with that. If I need something up high lifted, Machamp can grab that. Stuff like that. Not only for the just sheer fact of it being just a really awesome offensive and cool Pokemon to have to protect you, but it would be really practical for helping you lift stuff that you can't lift. If you're vacuuming, you're like, hey Machamp, lift the couch so I can vacuum underneath it, or hey Machamp, lift my car so I can see if I drop my keys underneath it, or something like that. I just think it would be really, really dope. And I guess in the world of Pokemon, there would be less of a need for vehicles in general because you could just ride your Pokemon. And that is why the one coming in at the next spot, coming in for the 4th member of my team, is Salamence. Now, Salamence is not the Gen 1 Pokemon. There's still one more coming up. I'm doing some really good transitions in this video. Hit that like button, because this is all just winging it. I did not write out a script for this. But, yeah. So, I was actually going to go with Staraptor, but I just think having a badass dragon that you can ride around is pretty dope. Now, I could be like, well, I don't need Ninetales because I have Machamp as a bodyguard, and Salamence can also learn Flamethrower. Now, I just think it would be really cool because there would be less of a need for vehicles. So you just climb on top of Salamence and be like, hey, Salamence, fly me to New York City, or fly me to Chicago or Hawaii or something like that. And, you just hop on Salamence and he'll fly you to wherever you want to fly, or if you need to visit family or something like that, you just hop on your Salamence and badass dragon and just go and fly someplace. It'd be really cool. And so Salamence is basically my transportation Pokemon, my land transportation Pokemon. So I think it would be really, really cool just to have that, just to fly around, different places. Plus, again, it's a dragon. Who wouldn't want a dragon in real life? A dragon that's just loyal to you, be like, hey, little Tommy, why don't you go out in the backyard and play with my dragon? Like, Salamence would just be like this huge dragon just playing with all these kids. I just think it's really funny to imagine some Pokemon like that in real life. But I just think Salamence would be a really, really dope Pokemon. Fly you places, help defend you, and I just think it would be dope to have just a literal giant dragon. But that's why Salamence is taking the number 4 spot? 3 spot on my team. The number 4 spot is actually a water type Pokemon that would help me cross water, and if you want to ride on water and stuff like that. And there are many, many Pokemon I could have picked for this, but again, I have to pick Pokemon that are near and dear to my heart. And this Pokemon is in my top 10 favorite Pokemon. If I made a video about my top 10 favorite Pokemon a while back, go check that out if you want to know what the other ones are. But this Pokemon, I think, made the number 6 spot on that list, and that is Lapras. I love Lapras. I always have. My dad was a firefighter when I was younger, so Lapras. I remember one of the Pokedex entries or a card entry or something said something about Lapras helping firefighters rescue people in the lake and stuff like that. And I remember I had a Lapras Pokemon card, so I gave it to my dad to put in his locker at the fire station, and he kept it there until he retired a couple years ago. So, so that was the reason why Lapras had always been one of my favorite Pokemon. But I just think Lapras would be super cool. It is meant to help people, so being able to rescue people in the water, something like that, is pretty cool. And just having a nice Pokemon that's really meant to ride upon to cross water is pretty cool. If I just want to go out on the lake, or if I want to cross the ocean or something like that, I think one of the best Pokemon to do that on would probably be Salamence. But if we want to cross the water, but I think Lapras would be really dope. Not just to ride on and cross the water, but just because, it's a water type is also a really good one to have. If you need to clean off something, if I have a pool if you have a pool at your house or something like that, have Lapras in the pool and, help, spray water for kids or something like that. If you have kids over, being like, oh, look, it's like a sprinkler for the kids or something like that. Or, put out fires if you have a fire or something. You just send out Lapras and have it use Hydro Pump or Rain Dance or something like that. I don't know. I just think it would be a really, really cool thing to have in real life, just to ride around with. And I think a water type would definitely be a very just nice to have in real life. So that's why Lapras comes in at the number 4 spot. Now, coming at the number 5 spot is another one that makes a lot of sense, and was actually in my top 5 favorite Pokemon when I was like a kid, like when I was like 10 years old, and that is Electivire. And I love Electivire. I think he's super cool. I definitely think he should have been fighting electric instead of just electric, but I think he's dope. He's got those tendrils that come out. I just think it's really cool. And the one big thing about Electivire is that he's an electric type, which is another amazing typing to have in real life. Let's say your phone goes dead. Electivire can just be like, zoop, and then your phone's at 100%. Or let's say even if you did decide to keep driving your car, and your car dies, Electivire can just start up the battery again. Or I guess I could just take Salamence, but yeah, I guess Salamence is a really, really good Pokemon to have in real life, but still. If you need power in your house, if power goes out or something like that, no need for a generator, because Electivire can just be like, Thunderbolt, and I don't know, power your house somehow. I don't know. Maybe in this world where Pokemon is alive, there's like little outlets where he can stick his little tendrils in and use like Thunderbolt or something. I don't know. But I just think it would be, be really, really cool, help with power companies and stuff like that too, I would think. So if, somebody's power went out, you could just I could just be like, hey, Electivire, why don't you, go start the house. That was always, when I was younger, Electivire was always one of the Pokemon that I'd like to have in real life, because of the sheer fact of being able to power anything you want, to have an electric type Pokemon. Never having to worry about things going dead because you have an electric type Pokemon. I just think that would be dope. Electric type is a really, really cool typing too. So yeah. And coming in at the number 6 spot, okay. So, or the number 1 spot, I guess not the one I most want to have on my team by far, but because this was actually my last choice. I could not think of another good practical Pokemon to have in real life. So it was going to be an ice type, and I was going to say Weavile, because Weavile is one of my favorite Pokemon, and, he's fast, he'd be able to help freeze things and stuff like that. But Lapras is an ice type too, so Lapras can do that. So I am going to go with Mudsdale as the last Pokemon. Mudsdale is a really, really cool Pokemon. Definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite, of Generation 7. I think it's 7. It's been a while since I've looked at the generations. I think it's Sun and Moon, but I think that's 7. So, it'd be a really, really cool Pokemon. Again, a nice one to, ride on land. I have Salamence for flying. I have Lapras for water travel, and I have Mudsdale for land travel. You know, I think Mudsdale's really cool. It's definitely a really awesome horse Pokemon. You know, you just climb on top of it, you know, have it, you know, take you places if you don't want to fly or anything like that. If you're just taking a leisurely walk or something like that, you can just hop on Mudsdale and go for a walk. Or my dog just heard me say go for a walk and now he's going crazy. But I just think Mudsdale is a super cool, you know, Pokemon like that too. And being able to, being a ground type, I don't think ground type really has any special, you know, perks, I guess you would say. Like, I mean, if you're really irritated with somebody, you can be like, Mudsdale, use Earthquake, and then, you know, they're just walking along and they're like, ah, and, you know, fall into the Earthquake. I don't know. But either way, I think Mudsdale would be a great Pokemon to have. I probably could have done a little bit more research and found a Pokemon that was better than Mudsdale, but all my Pokemon that I picked besides Mudsdale are in the first 4 generations. I say 4 because Electivire was introduced in Platinum, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, but Electabuzz was introduced in Generation 1. So, basically the first 3 generations, but Electivire was introduced in the 4th one. So yeah, that was, I don't, all of my Pokemon are like the first generations that I played, you know, as a kid. But that would be my team. To recap, it would be Ninetales, Machamp, Lapras, Salamence, Electivire, and the last one was Mudsdale. But that would be my team in real life, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to slap a like on it. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that bell so you don't miss a video when I post it. But other than that, guys, that is it from me. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. That's your General out. Peace.